Moin, friends, and welcome to this video about giving and tithing and money. Wow, skip next video. I don't like the topic. I'm shaking. No, kidding. So this video, you will find out how to make 3,000 euros within 2 weeks of... No, that's not one of these videos. This video is actually just about answering the question whether we should still give the 10th of our money, of our income. Are we still supposed to tithe nowadays as newborn Christians? What does church have to do with money? Man, it's always that topic that annoys me. May some people think. But of course, not you. Whatever, anyway. So, whoever watches this video loves the channel and watches all of the other videos, of course. And that's why we know from the last videos that we died to the law and all its commandments. Romans 7, you can read it again. That means that the law with the commandment to tithe, because that's from the law, we are dead to that. That means you, as a newborn Christian in the new covenant 2,000 years after Christ, you don't have to tithe. All right. So all the money is mine now. Party. Well, Paul talks about it a few times to the Galatians, to the Corinthians, for example. And there he says in chapter 9 of 1 Corinthians, for example, read it by yourself, the whole chapter before and after. It's a beautiful one. He just explains the whole principle and always says when he talks about money that as someone who's giving their life and time into the gospel and shares spiritual things, that they are supposed to earn, to receive, to harvest physical things. Okay, he's saying me who's feeding you spiritual food is supposed to get from you physical food. It just makes sense because other people work in other jobs and get paid from them. But the people that work for God, for the gospel, get paid from the church. So, and then he says in verse 14, even so the Lord himself has commanded that those who preach the gospel should live from the gospel. Okay. Now we don't have to tithe anymore. We know that. So is our motive now that we just have to pay someone? Like, is that the reason why we give nowadays? Well, that's not the reason, because Paul doesn't say, and now give me all your money. He just says that to give us some understanding of how church works, how also money works with the church, what money has to do with the church. Okay, he tries to give us understanding so that from our hard hearts oftentimes we get a soft heart towards the topic. Because what's the motive behind giving now? Because if it's just another reason like that, then it's another law, it's another religious act that we do. But we're not religious anymore. Did you forget? Because Christ crushed religion, gave us relationship, all these things, his life in us, Holy Spirit. Wow, amazing. So what's the reason now to give? John 3:16 gives the answer. For God so loved the world that he gave. Bam, bam, bam. Okay, so that's the only reason. We see that love gives, and you who turned into love give. You give automatically. Love gives, because love is not self-centered, self-interested, and looks to self all the time. But love is interested in others, sees whether they have a lack in this or in that, and they just give. And it's bigger than just money. You can give everything, actually. It has to do with time, with your clothes, maybe your car, maybe your shoes, your house, your whatever it is. Okay, it's money is just being used as, because it's most known to be like that you can give it. Anyway, and the reason now for us to give whatever it is, I just say money, to give money is love. Okay, so that means that my reason now is not to tithe anymore, to just satisfy my conscience. Yeah. My reason is also not to get blessed back. Oftentimes we hear that, and we Christians turned giving, such a selfless act, into something selfish. Because we said at church to motivate people to give, just like things like, hey, if you give, then you get blessed back, you get a blessing which is tenfold, thousandfold, whatever fold. And so we turned this selfless act, which is just to support someone else, we turn it into something egoistic, that we get something back, and all our motive, even in giving things away, is to receive something. And that's not how God said it, but He wants us to give freely and joyfully. That's beautiful, and that's only possible by giving because you love. So get transformed as you sit with Him. As I oftentimes say, 2 Corinthians 3:18, you get transformed into love's image as you just spend time with Him by the power of the Holy Spirit. So you just sit with Him, live relationship with Him, don't have any condemnation. Maybe you always gave the tithe because you thought you have to, or just to satisfy your conscience, or to bless your own finances. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. Don't look back, but look forward and see, hey, God has a future for you to give out of love, and because of that, joyfully and selflessly. So be blessed and give in love.